Hello guys, this is the tutorial about the new remote firmware. I'm gonna show you what's new, how to install it into your board, and how to get into the details of what we made exactly for you. So what's new with this remote firmware? We have streamlined the interface. It's much more simple to read. The text is bigger. It tells you what to do, how to unlock, how to lock. You can now lock your remote by pressing plus. It shows you the LED status of your battery. You have 4 colors that tell you how much you have left. You have now rider profiles, which means you can tell your remote, am I doing some assist or some e-foil? It will show you different information, and it's gonna program your unit and how it reacts with you, how responsive it is depending on what you do. Okay, so now let's get into it and update your remote and your main unit. To turn on your remote, do a long press on the O button until you see the full loop going. And to shut it down, you have 2 options. The first one is same, long press on the O button until it shuts down. And the other one is to place the top right corner of the screen next to a magnet, the magnet being the rotor of your motor. First we will update the main unit and then the remote. Alright, so the first step you need to do is to turn on your main unit. Here with the TakeOff air, just plug the battery inside. With the TakeOff flow, power it on with the magnet at the bottom of the remote. Once this is on, you will check that you have the connectivity, the little bars on the top right of your remote, and then we can go to the next step. The next step is to go inside of the menu and to put both of the remote and the main unit into Phone Connect. Plus, minus, I stay on. I'm going inside of the menu. Once the menu is here, you have Phone Connect. Okay. Okay, on, then the screen will turn to black, and it is now into Connect Phone. Once your remote and your main unit are in Phone Connect, you can go to Manta application. Just go at the bottom left into My Board, and before you click on plus, make sure that your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are activated on your phone. Then click on plus. The first one is to connect to the TakeOff unit at the top right. It's going to show you the list of available devices on your phone from the Bluetooth. You will see T01 power unit. Click on it. And it's paired. If you manage to connect, you can move on. In case you do not manage to connect to the remote or the main unit, we invite you to go at the end of this video. We are going to show you a little troubleshooting part in order to make your phone connect to it. Once you've added your TakeOff unit, click on it and then go to Firmware Update. You will see the latest firmware is 6 point something. Click on it. Then go to the Wi-Fi settings on your phone and connect to Manta Foils. Wait a little bit, and then you can click on Update. That's done. Once you've updated your power unit, click on plus, click on Manta Remote. You will see it in the available list of Bluetooth devices, and click on T01 Remote. If this step is too long and it doesn't connect to your remote, it's maybe because you waited a little bit too long to do this step. So what we advise, take your remote, shut it down, turn it on again, go to menu, go back to Phone Connect, and do this step right away after. Once it's added, click on it, go to Firmware Update, click on it 6, So basically following the same process for the remote versus the main unit. And that is done. The remote is rebooting, as you can see in the background. Now that your remote and main unit are updated, let us show you what is inside your remote in details. So this is your new interface that is now more simplified. You have here key information, your gear, your throttle that follows the trigger at the back, your battery level from 100 to 0. The gear now go to 1 to 10, from 1 to 10. You have here the remote locked and it tells you press minus to unlock, minus, and there you go. Press plus to lock, that's the news, and you're locked again. You can choose the lock time in the menu, but we're going to see that afterwards. If you press on O, you go to the next screen that shows you the temperature of the electronics and here the power that you're consuming when you ride, which is going to show you in watt consumption. It shows you the elapsed distance and time, and on the first page the remaining time and distance based on your actual recent consumption of watt. Now, the first thing you need to do when you go to the menu, click on plus and minus and stay pressed on both buttons to enter the menu. The first thing you will do will be to go to power setting and device selection. To enter a menu, click on the O. To go down and up, click on plus and minus. You need to select between TakeOff, DIY if you are doing something by yourself, Volt e-foil or Voyager depending on the device that you have. Here I'm using a TakeOff, so I keep it in TakeOff. Return, O, and I go back to previous menu. The second thing that you will go is in display setting. You will choose the profile. We have now defined few profiles that modify the display and the way the remote and your unit responds to your trigger in terms of starting gear and in terms of responsiveness of the trigger. E-foil beginner will make you ride with a gear starting number 1 and a very slow response to the trigger. It's going to be very soft and easy to learn. Intermediate will make you start in a medium gear, and Pro will make you start in the max gear, the gear number 10. Assist is going to be the same. You're going to start in gear number 5, which for an assist, because the motor is smaller, is a soft gear. Intermediate will make you start in gear number 8. Pro will make you start in gear number 10. Knowing that the start gear can be adjusted afterwards with the plus and minus once you ride. We have another assist mode called Pro No Gear, which means you get 100% of the trigger, so gear number 10 all the time here, and you cannot change that gear even if you press plus or minus. Then I will set it here. Interface style. You have now two interface styles. The one I showed you initially with the 2 pages is standard. We have a simplified version. Would you want to have only little information displayed on the remote, which is what I'm going to show you right now. The simplified mode shows you your battery here, the battery percentage, and if you press minus, the lock time. Then after you have your gear, the acceleration, and to lock it, press plus. There is no extra page. This is key information that you need to see. So if you are someone that needs to have the information displayed in very big, this is going to be your one. Going back to the menu, plus minus long press. Going back to display setting. Here you will be able to change the units depending on where you are, between kilometer, miles and knots. Here you will modify your time zone. You have a dark mode and a bright mode. Dark mode is going to be having a black background, and when it's off, it's going to be a white background. Like on this one. Pressing plus and minus, going back to the menu, we are going to continue into display settings. An important one will be display off delay. Here the screen is going to shut down after 2 minutes to save your remote battery while you ride. 5 minutes, never. This is what you choose. So that's all for the display settings. Now going back to power settings. Rental mode. Would you be a school and want to choose the riding time, the session that you're giving it to people, here is what you need to do: 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45, 60, and more. This will allow the power to shut down almost to the minimum, so that people can come back on the belly with the board without keeping riding. Cutoff time is the time when the remote is losing the connection between the main unit, how long the power is going to keep running. Let's say that there is a wave passing by and it cuts for less than 0.7 seconds the connection between the remote and the unit, then the power is going to continue if you stay pressed. But if you fall into the water, the remote is going to basically lose the signal for more than 0.7 seconds, then it would cut. We recommend to keep it at 700 milliseconds. This is a safe time. More than that becomes unsafe. Less than that is safer, but if you are doing some assist, you will have waves passing by. It's going to be difficult to start on tiny foils or tiny boards. Start level is your gear. Here I am in beginner assist, so it's gear number 5. Let's say that for my weight, I want it at 7 because I'm heavier, or my foil or board are smaller. I will put it there. Every time it locks again, it goes back to 7. Throttle ramp is the responsiveness of the trigger when you accelerate. You have it medium, very fast, or slow. In assist, a beginner is a medium response. Lock time is the lock time of your remote. If you are doing some assist and you surf, this needs to be bigger than your average surf time. If you surf waves for more than 30 seconds, then definitely put it well above, for example 45 seconds, so that you are not locked when you want to reaccelerate down a wave. If you are doing e-foil, then we recommend, and it's as standard, as per 5 seconds, so that as soon as you fall, it's going to lock itself. That's all for the power settings. For pairing, you need first to shut down your main unit. On the air, remove the battery. On the flow, use the magnet sensor at the front of the unit. Once it's off, go to your remote, go to pairing, click on pair remote, OK. You just need now to power on any TakeOff next to you, and it's going to shut down the screen and it's going to be paired. That's it. Once you're in pairing mode and you want to shut it down, just press a long press O. You will need to shut down the remote, restart it. Turning on the remote again. This is in the case you want to abort the pairing process. Calibrate triggers happen in 2 cases. Either you realize that when you are locked, the throttle, when you accelerate, is not clean. Released should be full black, fully pressed should be full blue. In that case, I made it on purpose. It's not done properly. But would the magnet sensor of your remote start to rust, have some issues, you need to recalibrate it. The second reason would be the remote to detect that there is an issue. It would tell you trig not initiated, trigger not initiated, and then you need to calibrate it. To do it, go to the menu, plus, minus, long press, go to calibrate, calibrate trigger. Release the trigger and press the O button. So I release it. Oh, I have measured the 0. Press trigger fully and press the O button. I will press and I keep it pressed. Press O. I have measured the maximum and I release, it's finished. To check if it's correct, go back to the home page. And you see now I'm not accelerating. There is no blue around the gear, so the trigger is not moving. If I accelerate, it goes to full. And now I can unlock it, minus, and it goes. Advanced is only in case of after sales, would you need to change the direction of your propeller on the motor. Reset system will reset all the setup that we just went through in the remote. So would you do this? Keep in mind to reselect your device and your profile so that you have something that fits what you want to do. Alright, let's download the GPS logs that are stored in the remote. To go to this menu, go to plus, minus, till the menu appears. Then go to Phone Connect with the O button one more time. Wait a little bit, and now the remote is set in Bluetooth mode. So now you can just put down the remote and use your smartphone application. Now, from the menu of the smartphone application, before we do anything, make sure that you have activated your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on your telephone. Go to the board at the bottom left, click on plus, Manta Remote, and then from the list of devices, you need to look for T01 TakeOff remote that you have here. It's going to add the remote to your devices. If your remote is already added, you don't need to do this step, just click directly in it. Once you are in this menu, click on Rides. Now it's going to tell you to connect to Montafold's Wi-Fi. Wait a little bit, it's going to come, click on it. Once it's connected, go back, wait a bit, and now click on Connect to Remote. So once you have your logs and you're still connected to the Wi-Fi of your remote, make sure to reset your Wi-Fi and to connect to a standard Wi-Fi that has internet so that you can have the satellite view. In the meantime, you can already start to open the log that you want to see. So here, you see I'm not yet connected to the internet, so the satellite view is not showing. Now it's showing. You have the choice to view it as per the map or satellite view. Then here, if you click there, you will see your speed. So you see I'm riding between 22 to 14 kph approximately on average. When it falls, it means I fell. You see basically where you are positioning along the way. You can add the power consumptions, which is linked of course to your speed here. You can add the battery remaining. You see it went down, down, down till at some point where we stop, and the trip distance as you go. So then you can see your power as per the consumption, or you can see battery remaining versus the speed as per what you go. And basically you can choose whatever you want. You can replay your ride, you can put it in fast forward, and then you see exactly what we're doing. Here, just for an example, there is a wake surf boat that comes all the time and we just kept chasing it. So we're just waiting for the wakeboard boat to do some runs and we turn around it. And that's it for the logs. So in case you struggle to add your remote to your phone, here are a few tips that you can try. First, reset your Bluetooth. Second thing that you can do is to clear the cache of your application. So on Android, here is the process. Storage, cache, clear data. Do it again. Right after, it will ask you to revalidate the permissions for the application. Once you have validated the permission of using the location of Montafold application, it's going to start. Then you take your remote again, reset it, go to the menu, go to Phone Connect, and we are going to do it very quickly so that the remote doesn't wait. So the remote is in Phone Connect, go to Remote, look at the list of available devices for the Bluetooth, and we do the process again. We click on it and hope that it works. You may try 2 or 3 times to see if it works or no, because sometimes the internet connection cannot be perfect. And if it really doesn't work, as we said, we are coming with a new smartphone application in spring that will solve this issue. And that was it for Android. On iOS, there is no way to clear the cache of an application, so you simply uninstall it. And then go again to the App Store to reinstall it. That's it with the new remote firmware. If you have any kind of feedback or comments, please let us know at sales@mantafold.com. We value your feedback, and that's how we grow together to make this sport better. See you soon.